This is 26-year-old Gwendolyn Fogle, known best by her middle name, Elaine. She was found murdered in her Walterboro home 37 years ago, and police say they finally are closing the case.
News 2's Mason McLeod has more from Walterboro.
I spoke to one of Elaine's cousins on the phone today, and he said she was a pretty girl who had a lot going for her. Elaine moved from Orangeburg to Walterboro to work here at the old Walterboro Hospital, and she moved right across the street into this house with the green shutters, and that's where she was found murdered.
It appears that she was attacked as soon as she got home that night. She was sexually assaulted, she was beaten, brutally beaten, and there was a fire poker that was part of evidence that was actually wrapped around her neck. And I'm almost sure that's the cause of death.
Walterboro police are charging 59-year-old James Willie Butterfield in this case, almost 4 decades old. Lead investigator Detective Corporal Gene Johnson took over the case in May and says re-questioning and reanalysis of evidence led him to Butterfield.
In this case, there was a lot of names there as far as investigators were looking at back then. And it just so happened his name was one of the names, but was overlooked. I think I remember seeing it in one report and then never seen it again.
Another hand in this case is retired SLED Special Agent Rita Schuler, who was there 37 years ago when the investigation began, and she hasn't given up.
Oh, I was elated, a long time coming, but all through when I was working with Detective Johnson, he kept saying, I'm going to solve this case. We're going to solve this case, and I knew we would.
She says she was there with the Fogle family yesterday when they received the news.
Elaine's sister especially, she was just shaking. All we could do was just hold her hands, and her mom and dad died before they knew. We kind of feel like they died with a broken heart. But Elaine's sister now has the peace that she's always wanted.
The police department and Schuler agree it was the Fogle family that kept the investigation alive, pushing detectives to close this cold case.
We did not stop this time. We kept on going, and we got what we needed, and we got him.
Macy McLeod, News 2.
According to the Walterboro Police Department, Butterfield will not go to bond court for these charges until sometime later this month.
Yeah, and that's because he's already in custody on unrelated charges.